Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's lesson. Let's go ahead and get started with today's lesson objective. So today we will convert measurements of length, weight, mass, and capacity. All right, so we have 3 lesson success criteria. So the first one is I can convert measurements involving length. I can convert measurements involving weight and mass. I can convert measurements involving capacity. All right, so we have a couple of vocabulary words. Our first one is convert. So converting is to find an equal amount using different units. So for example, we have 1 yard. If we want to convert them or change them into feet, we need to find an equal amount. So 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. So we change them into different units, but it's the same amount. All right. Then we have equivalent. Equivalent is having the same amount. So like here we have 4 strawberries. That's equal to 4 strawberries. Okay, measure. So to measure is to compare an amount to a known unit to determine the size or amount of something, right? So whenever we're measuring something, we're trying to figure out the size or the amount of something. So a ruler measures length, a thermometer measures temperature, a scale measures weight, and then this beaker measures volume. All right. Now, capacity units. Capacity units are different size units used to measure how much a container can hold. So for example, I have my water bottle over here. This is holding water, but there's only a certain amount of water my water bottle can hold. Otherwise, it's going to overflow, right? So capacity tells us how much something can hold. And we have certain units for that, right? So units such as cups and ounces, pints, gallons, liters, these all measure capacity, how much something can hold. All right, length. So length includes customary units of inches, feet, yards, and miles. Includes metric units of millimeters, centimeters, and meters. So basically, length units tell us how long something is, right? So we have a foot, we have inches, we also have kilometers, we have miles. So these are all length. They're telling us how long something is. Mass and weight units. So this includes customary units of pounds and ounces and includes metric units of grams and kilograms. So it tells us how much something weighs, how heavy something is, right? Those are what metric and or mass and weight units are. They tell us how heavy something is, like pounds. It tells us how much we weigh. Or if we're measuring something's weight, like a pound of sugar, right? That's telling us how much something weighs, how heavy it is. All right. Let's go over length again. So length is the measurement of how long something is. A ruler helps us figure out how long something is, right? Mass, that tells us the amount of matter in something. It's in grams or kilograms. It really tells us how much stuff is in something, how much it weighs. It kind of tells us how much it weighs, how heavy something is, or how dense it is. And then we have weight. Weight is how heavy something is. So an elephant is pretty heavy. An elephant is 1 pound, which is equal to 1 ton, which is equal to 2,000 pounds, which is pretty heavy. So that's the elephant's weight. It tells us how heavy it is. And then liquid volume. Volume is the amount of liquid something is taking up inside of something. So like this beaker right here, it's telling us how much liquid we can put into the beaker. My coffee cup, it's telling me how much coffee I can have in my coffee cup. These are all liquid volume. It's telling me how much liquid something can hold. All right. Now we're going to go into converting between units. A really big thing that we're going to be using is this reference chart right here. And we'll see it on the STAR test as well. This is a reference chart. And if you look at our reference chart, we have different categories. So we have length, we have volume and capacity, we have weight and mass, and we have time, right? So this is telling us how to convert from one unit to another. So length is telling us how long something is. Volume capacity is telling us how much something can hold. Weight and mass is telling us how heavy something is. And time is telling us like the amount of time that we have. So what we are going to do is we are going to be focusing on each one of these. And we are going to be looking for different ratios or different things that equal something else. So let's go ahead and do this with a problem. So our first problem says the width of a quarter is about 1 inch, right? A series of quarters placed end to end measures about 3 feet. How many inches does this equal? So the first thing I need to figure out is, okay, I'm looking at length. I'm looking at how long something is, right? So I'm going to go to the length section of my reference chart, and I'm going to look for any conversion that might help us. So I'm going to go over here. I'm seeing, okay, a mile, 1 yard, 3 feet. We're not talking about yards. 1 foot, 12 inches. Oh, okay. So I do know I'm talking about feet and inches. And on this chart, it's telling me that 1 foot, and I'm going to use abbreviation, which is FT. So 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. Now, I know that 1 quarter, I'm going to do a circle for a quarter, is 1 inch. And we have 3 feet worth of quarters. So I know that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and separate this into 3 feet, right? Let me go ahead and erase this. I'm going to go ahead and kind of separate it out, make it into 3 sections so we can see the feet, right? So I have 1 foot here, I have 1 foot here, and I have 1 foot here. So 1 quarter is 1 inch. So I know if I put this here so that I know 1 foot is 12 inches, which means the next foot is also 12 inches, which means the next foot is also 12 inches. So I want to figure out how many inches are in 3 feet. So if I do that, let's go ahead and figure this out. So what I can do is I know I have 3 feet. So I could do 12 times 3 because I have 12 inches here, 12 inches here, 12 inches here. I have 3 groups of 12, which is going to give me 36. The other thing I could do is I could do 12 plus 12 plus 12, and that is also going to give me 36. So I now have 36 inches. So that is how long 3 feet worth of quarters is going to be in inches, 36 inches. All right, let's go on to our next problem. So our next problem is saying your neighbor has 5 pet parrots and they each weigh about 1 pound. What is the weight of all 5 parrots? So let's go ahead and draw our parrot. So I'm going to go ahead and draw kind of weird looking parrot, but there's 1 parrot, there's 2 parrots, 3 parrots, 4 parrots, and then I'll do the 5th one down. I'll do the 5th one over here. 5 parrots, right? All right, so there are my 5 parrots. Each of my parrots are 1 pound. And I'm going to do LB because that's an abbreviation for pound, right? So each of my parrots are 1 pound. Okay, so I am looking at pounds. I want to figure out, I know that they each weigh something, so I'm going to go ahead and find weight and mass, right? So there's weight and mass, so that means this section over here is going to be talking about weight and mass. So it's asking me what is the weight of all 5 parrots in ounces. So I'm going to go ahead and look over here and see if I can find pounds and ounces. Okay, so over here, I have 1 ton equals 2,000 pounds. That's not going to help me. 1 pound is equal to 16 ounces. Oh, that will help me, right? So I'm going to go ahead and use this conversion right here. Let me actually go ahead and erase this circle just so we can see a little better. So I'm going to use this conversion right over here. 1 pound equals 16 ounces. Okay, so I know that each of my parrots is 1 pound. I have 5 parrots. So each of these parrots are going to be equal to 16 ounces. Okay, so 1 pound is equal to 16 ounces. Okay, so that means I have 16 5 times. So I'm going to multiply that by 5, which is going to give me, I'm going to do the standard algorithm over here so we can see it. Actually, I'll do it right here. 16 times 5. 5 times I'm sorry, 6 times 5 is 30. I'm going to put the 0 there, carry the 3. 1 times 5 is 5, but I have to add 3, so that's going to be plus 3, so that's 80. So my 5 parrots are 80 ounces. All right. The other thing I can do is, if I didn't want to multiply, I can go ahead and add 16 5 times. 6 plus 6, I'm sorry, 16 plus 16 plus 16 plus 16 plus 16, and that's going to give me the same answer. It's going to give me 80 as well. All right, we have one more to do. This time we're going to be talking about volume and capacity, but let's go ahead and read this. So paint cans are sold by the gallon. How many quarts are there in 4 cans of paint? So we have a paint can. And I'm actually going to go ahead and change this a little bit so we can do something a little bit different. So it says paint cans are sold by the gallon, but I'm going to say it's going to be 2 gallons in each paint can, okay? So one paint can is going to be 2 gallons. All right. How many quarts are there in 4 cans of paint? So let's go ahead and do 4 cans of paint. So there are 4 cans of paint. Each one of these are 2 gallons. All right. Now we want to figure out how many quarts are in 4 cans of paint. So we're trying to figure out how much, we're talking about volume capacity. So let's go ahead and look and see if I can find anything that helps me. So I see 1 gallon is equal to 4 quarts. Oh, that's exactly what I'm looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and circle that. Now, 1 gallon is 4 quarts, but in each one of these these paint cans, I have 2 gallons. I'm going to split this up. I have 2 gallons in each paint can. So 1 gallon is equal to 4 quarts, which means this part is 4 quarts, but I have 2 gallons, so this is also 4 quarts. So that means in one paint can, I have 4 quarts plus 4 quarts, I have 8 quarts altogether in each one of my paint cans. So I have 8 quarts there, I have 8 quarts there, I have 8 quarts here, and then I have 8 quarts here. All right, so all together I have 8 times 4 quarts, right? So that is going to give me 32. Or I could do 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8, and that is also going to give me 32. All right, let's go ahead and go over our lesson objective. So today we converted measurements of length, weight and mass, and capacity. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody.